Halloween is upon us. The adults are getting ready to chase kids off of their property, and the kids are buying eggs and toilet paper exactly for those adults. But me? No. Instead, I'm talking about Halloween specials from my early childhood. Yeah, that's my life now. The first special that is near and dear to me is Scaredy Pants and I Was a Teenage Gary from SpongeBob. They both aired on October 28, 1999. Scaredy Pants starts with SpongeBob and the Krusty Krab getting scared by things quite easily. Mr. Krabs then tells him a story about the Flying Dutchman, which also scares him, and he starts to go home. While on his way home, he gets scared more and more, which people then start to make fun of him for.
Happy Halloween, Scaredy Pants!
Soon Patrick shows up at his home and tries to aid SpongeBob in becoming more frightening, which, well, doesn't work so well.
Look, it's the haunted mattress!
You're a fucking asshole.
No, please.
SpongeBob then gets the idea that his head needs to be more rounded in order for him to be more frightening, so Patrick ends up shaving off his head. When SpongeBob goes back to the Krusty Krab, they come up with a scheme to scare people there, which actually goes well at first, but then it goes downhill. After some humiliation, we're introduced to the Flying Dutchman, who is ready to steal SpongeBob's soul for posing as him. He takes off the blanket and sees SpongeBob's shaven head, which freaks him and everyone else out.
Lighten up, what are you screaming at?
Next it's I Was a Teenage Gary. It starts off with SpongeBob and Patrick going to a jellyfishing trip, and they leave Gary in Squidward's care. Squidward happily takes Gary and then relaxes for the weekend, neglecting Gary in the process. When he returns, SpongeBob easily notices Gary's condition and sees a vet who prescribes him snail plasma. You know, whatever that is. Anyway, Squidward accidentally injects the plasma into SpongeBob.
Squidward? You've injected me with snail plasma.
Later, SpongeBob is trying to feed Gary, but he ends up slowly turning into a snail. Now, why is he turning into a snail? Well, reasons. Later, he shows up at Squidward's house, and Squidward rightfully freaks out at the sight. But after a huge ruckus, he gets the plasma injected in him as well. And then after all is said and done, Patrick throws a shoe at Squid Snail to shut him up. So what can I say? Most of you have probably already watched these multiple times, but anyway, they're pretty great. They're both funny and classic.
Now it's time to get down to business and spook up this boring scene. I wish things were real and real scary tonight on Halloween.
Anyway, now we're moving on to the Fairly OddParents special named Scary Godparents. This time, however, it's actually a full episode and not just a segment. It aired on October 29th, 2002. It starts off with Timmy watching TV while his parents make him go trick-or-treating. With Vicky. Great. So she puts him in a toilet paper mummy. After a couple attempts, which also involved Remy's parents sicking their dogs on them, Timmy gets mad and sings a musical number. That's actually pretty good. In the song, he essentially wishes that everyone who had a costume would actually turn into the character they're dressed as. It's all well and good, but then some of the transformed kids actually set out to destroy the Earth.
By destroying the Earth!
Timmy then realizes, oh wow, this was not a good idea, and wishes everything to be back to normal, but Cosmo and Wanda are unfortunately handicapped. So Timmy chooses to improvise, but he ends up getting overpowered. It was a good effort though. Wanda then uses some quick thinking to turn back into a fairy and turn everything back to normal. At the very end, it's 2 weeks later and the kids are awaiting treatment for their cavities, and thus the special ends.
It was the greatest Halloween of our lives.
Here you go, children. Have some more sugar-coated, sugar-flavored pieces of sugar while you wait.
Cool.
I love it. Everything flows well, the musical number in it was great, and it was an overall fun time. It also feels like a regular classic Fairly OddParents episode. Sorry, I love the SpongeBob ones, but they both felt different for some reason. The next special is one that I haven't really seen much in my first decade of life, but I really feel the need to talk about this show.
Oh, fuck yeah, this is the shit!
Kids Next Door, Operation Tricky. or rather, Trivial Rival Investigates Candy Crazy Yearning, airing on October 29th, 2004. The episode starts off with number 4 getting scared in the treehouse. He gets mad and challenges numbers 1, 2, 3, and 5 to a contest to see who can get the most candy that night. The first house he goes to has a couple that gives him a piece of butterscotch, and the second house he visits has Sticky Beard, who steals it and takes off. Sticky lurks around more to worsen his diabetes, get more candy, and number 4 tricks his way onto the ship to look for his one piece of butterscotch. He retrieves his bag and leaves to get more candies, then slowly realizes that he was just surrounded with it.
Finish that trick or treat ing. Ow, crud.
He tricks his way onto the ship again and then takes control. Of course, it's not that easy as Sticky's other crewmates attack him and the ship loses control. In the next shot, the rest of Sector V is done with trick-or-treating and they gloat about their success when number 4 comes in with his huge load.
Good night, everybody.
And the episode ends. That was pretty good too. As I said before, I didn't watch this one nearly as much as the previous ones, but good memories can still be had. So kids, enjoy your Halloween. I hope you enjoyed this video and sorry for my long hiatus. It's kinda hard to find time when there's high school around, and I wasn't exactly in the video making mood for a while, but I hope this is a nice way of saying, I am not dead. By the way, thanks for helping me reach 100,000 views and 400 subscribers. Peace guys, I'm Mozo the Best.